Welcome back to OTTV's coverage of Windmill 2022. The Women's Division semi-final action with 3SB from the Czech Republic up against Enraladas of Spain, and Enraladas are going to get a block there. Good read, hand in the middle of the park, knocks it down. It's Benji Reese in the booth alongside Rachel Douglas. Afternoon, Rachel.
Hi Benji, how you doing?
It's good. It's been a bit of a breakneck day, to be honest, and I don't think there's going to be any let up here.
Yeah, this is shaping up to be a really competitive game. So excited to be here watching this one with Ulti TV.
Goikalea dumping off, and it's just going to ricochet off the hands. Turned back to 3SB. With the wind having picked up now, you can really see it on the flags in the background. Would expect 3SB to come out with a lot of zone. They are more than partial to playing it, and I expect them to do so again here. That one knocked through, run through D for Enraladas.
Yeah, great heads up D there. Picked up a little bit on the wind, but she just had another look just to make sure. And immediately into a zone, as you called.
And double catch. Keen to not let that zone set by flicking it over the top. Artal. Now they're swinging across. Little inside throw there to Artal. Towards the end zone. Sticks, and Enraladas will break on the first point. That's going to give them a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, not a pretty point, but they got the job done. A little bit scrappy, quite a few turnovers, a couple like just errors, you know, bobbles not catching the disc. But Enraladas with the break in that first point. This is going to be a competitive game. We expect both these teams to come out firing. They actually did already meet each other in the tournament. They played their first game against each other. First game on Friday was a matchup between these two teams, and the score was 13-12 to Enraladas.
Wow.
So it was a tight one at the beginning, and now they're meeting each other this late juncture in the tournament, this semi-final in the women's division, seeing if they can have another tight game, and maybe 3SB seeing if they can edge Enraladas out this time around.
Yeah, if we get a repeat of that, we are in for a treat. The other women's semi-final is also taking place right now, and Prima Donna girls are level with Flying Angels at 1 apiece.
Both of these teams have played and lost to Prima Donna girls. Enraladas losing 15-6, and the 3SB losing just 13-10. So obviously a very competitive game there on the other field.
Toshnareva with that right wrist brace. This one is swung around the back and layout. Oh, trailing edge got it, but ground stripped on the landing when the elbow hit the turf. But 3SB go right and get it back. This is comfortably the most consistently windy it's been all weekend. And Toshnareva not necessarily short of a word, telling her teammates dramatically to come underneath, but trying to crash it into the cup. Pass goes incomplete. Zone from both sides might be the order of the day here.
Yeah, if not a full zone, then at very least, like some poachiness. Number 17 throwing that directly out the field and turning around with a hand over her face. Probably not quite what she'd intended.
I would be surprised, yeah.
Yeah, that one got away from her a little bit, but it happens. She's going to go on to defense now. Enraladas setting up also with a zone.
Yeah, very keen to trap them on this line. High release over the top. Oh, this is floaty, and this is an ugly pass, but it worked well enough. I'm sure that was exactly how they drew it up. It's throw low, and it blades quickly. Oh. And lands right on my chair. It's nice for them to want us to get involved.
Yeah. We watch so much of the Ultimate, they just want us to feel included.
It's put deep by Betancourt. Reeled in just shy of the end zone, and the quick flip for the goal puts Enraladas up 2-0.
So far, I would say this game is scrappy.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily go against that.
I think both teams perhaps just needing to center themselves that little bit more. I don't know that they've adjusted for the wind. We're seeing some kind of errant throws, whether it's something that kind of just picks up and rolls, as we saw later on in that point, not reaching their player, or earlier than that, just throwing it straight out the field. Both teams just needing to recalibrate a little bit. It's late in the tournament. They've been playing lots of games yesterday, lots of games today. I'm sure there's some very, very tired legs out there and tired brains to match, but they really just need to make sure they're focusing on the task at hand, making sure they're giving everything to this semi-final game. If they want to make it through into the final, yeah, they really need to concentrate and kind of bring back the caliber that we know they were delivering earlier in the tournament.
Should be. 3SB. Swinging all the way across the field, nice vision there. Now looking to swing it back downfield. Everything going laterally at the moment for 3SB, not able to really churn up any yardage. So they're uncorking the deep ball. Can they get it on target? Brilliant put over the head of the defender and well reeled in for the score.
Love that look. Great job, 3SB, just mixing it up. There's been a lot of the same play so far. This zone defense that we've seen, sort of making a lot of small ball happen. They're trying to move it around the back and try and work it up the sides. And in that point, if you have someone going deep and they have a step on them, great to be able to take that option and keep Enraladas guessing. You never want them to know what your offensive moves are and kind of be expecting you to do a certain thing, because they're going to then be able to adjust and shut that down. So
yeah, keep your cards close to your chest a little bit.
Yeah, but let them know that you've got a whole expansive hand.
I am very much a big fan of opening up the deep game early. Just always got to have that threat in the mind. Enraladas catching the pull, floating it towards the far sideline. And it ricochets off the hands.
3SB demonstrating they are very much not afraid of a long put. Beautiful throw there, weighted so well. Yeah, great effort from 3SB to recognize that turn happening and just making sure they have options right off it. And that was a really nice throw. Sort of a little bit into the wind, I guess. I'm trying to look at the flags and see exactly what direction, but yeah, upwind to some extent at least. So really well weighted, really well set out, and a great cut to make that opportunity.
So we're back level here. Enraladas is still a break-up because I think 3SB started on offense. But 3SB finding a little bit of range now.
Just looking a little bit more comfortable out there than maybe we saw in the couple points before. It's still very early in the game, both teams trying to find their stride, but yeah, 3SB just looking much more comfortable in those last few points and able to create some really decisive options for themselves.
And as you mentioned, when these two met in the first round of the tournament, Enraladas emerged 13-12 victors, so you know that this is going to be a close contest.
Yeah, when they were both at their freshest, it was that tight, so I think now it might be a question of when you're running on tired legs, who can make the best decisions, who can really manage their team well. And at the moment, in the last few points, 3SB are sort of really clicking into gear in that sense. Yeah,
deep shot was a little bit undercooked, and 3SB were ready and waiting for it. And now they're looking deep themselves, trying to find Toshnarova down the far sideline. But Enraladas taking no chances.
Foul called on the throw, though, I believe. It was well read by the Enralada defense to go to that disc and hit it down. There were two blue 3SB shirts running down that would have liked to get their hands on it, but a great read from the defense to knock that out. But foul has been called on the throw. It is contested. It's a contested foul call, but the disc will have to come back.
So still in 3SB's possession. Checked in, floated over the top. but caught comfortably enough. Down the sideline, tight throw, but speared well. Toshnarova, you knew it was coming. The deep shot arcing across the field, but snagged away brilliantly by Enraladas.
Super well read by Enraladas' defense there.
Putting this one out, and was it down? Agreeing that it was. I must admit, that was my gut instinct.
Yeah, mine too.
Toshnarova finds an option down the line. Fakes the flick. Then the offhand backhand. Couple yards out. Huge hammer comes out of nowhere. Sky ball. And the pack wins for Enraladas. Not sure that was the best option at that moment.
Yeah, maybe just a little decision-making error there. Enraladas now looking at this poachy zone look, put it up down the middle. 3SB taking 2 of them to bring that down, but they do get the turnover.
High release backhand down the line. Still looking for options. Upline cut goes, well defended. On a high store, has to put the blade into the middle of the pitch, and Enraladas there once more.
As far as bailout throws go, that's an incredibly aggressive option. Didn't really give anyone, maybe the plan was to not give the defense time to get a hand to it, but unfortunately it also means that you don't give any of your offensive players a moment to really collect themselves and figure out what's going on. Perhaps if they were able to put something a bit floatier, a bit further to the other side, that might have been a little bit more successful, but as it stands, it's a turnover and Enraladas are moving the disc up the field. This 3SB zone really slowing them down though, really kind of containing that movement. They're having to look very lateral, lots of sort of sideways movement, not much forward gain. And
when the conditions are like this, it's quite windy and a slightly variable wind as well. What? Ridiculous toe drag swag. Then playing the zone and making them make as many passes as possible, not a bad idea, as this blade over the top bounces right in and out of the grasp.
Yeah, that was a ridiculous effort to keep that disc in. She kept her toes in, she looked down and she just let herself fall and snatch the disc on her way down. An incredible play on that far sideline to keep the disc alive, but then unfortunately her teammate not able to reel in the cross-field put that she then tried to follow it up with. So 3SB with the disc and Enraladas not choosing to put their zone on now. They're just going to match up person to person.
Yeah, Albadias had the disc right in the hand and it was in there and it just trampolined out of there.
Some of those aggressive throws, you know, you might get your hand to it, but if you're not lightning fast, it can just get away from you.
Toshnarova looking downfield, pointing that she wants something on the break side, floats the hammer there impeccably. Now the 3SB offense looking a little gummed up, trying to stretch it towards this sideline. And not only was it out of the sideline, it was out of this sideline as well.
Yeah, that was fairly well out.
It could be one of those games where you play the field position a little bit.
Yeah, there's certainly going to be like high side and low side with the wind as it is. Getting caught in these back corners is going to be a big problem.
Pointing out that actually they'd not set their feet in bounds because they were looking at the wrong sideline. So there's going to be a little bit of discussion here.
Yeah, a challenging one because obviously 3SB would be very happy with that turnover regardless, but I guess that would that count as a travel call, but which can that be declined?
They can, if 3SB called the travel, they could decline it, I think. But I think Enraladas called it.
Not sure. Can Enraladas call it if the turnover?
A travel on their teammates.
I think the turnover has to stand. You know, it's their own responsibility to set up within the field. If 3SB don't call it, you can't call a travel on yourself to get the disc back after a turnover if you've neglected to set your feet in the field.
Yeah, so Toshnarova goes to pick up.
Yeah, seems that's how it's been resolved.
Oh, a high release lefty backhand into the end zone, not quite, but then dished off with the subsequent pass. Pick called.
Lovely, lovely lefty high release backhand. That's a beaut.
I'd like a throw like that. Just once.
Yeah, just once. Just once I'd love to pull off something like that.
There's a reason I'm here and not out there, and not just because it's a women's division game.
Pick called. Just trying to resolve it. But some nice clear arm signals, which we appreciate on the field.
Goal stands. 3SB take their first lead of the game at 3-2, and we're back on serve. Neither side has probably looked at their fluid best here in this game, but it feels like with the wind conditions, it's probably not going to be that sort of game.
Yeah, well, I think the first few points we definitely defined as scrappy. I do think it's sort of tidied up a bit since then, but equally, having said that, this gusty wind does seem to be having an impact on both sides, not least because, you know, if you get the disc on the sideline, you've got a zone set up around you, it can be really difficult to know like where to put the disc and how to ensure it's not going to get taken away by the wind, which can be a bit of a mental challenge as well as a physical one for the teams. In
the other women's semi-final, Flying Angels are up 4-3 on Prima Donna Girls. In the open semi-finals, Foy up 3-2 on Mooncatchers, and my scoreboard still says 0-0 for Clapham versus Is No Good, but I'm pretty sure that I've just seen Clapham pull it, so I highly doubt that's right.
I think if you refresh the page, it will go to 1-0 Clapham.
At least.
Is No Good.
Oh yeah, there we go.
3SB back in their zone.
Yeah, trademarked for the Czechs now, along with those either pink or bright blue flamingo jerseys. Although I haven't seen the inflatable flamingo on the sidelines, much to my disappointment.
Yeah, enjoying the sort of retro baseball style shirts that Enraladas have opted for. It's a good look.
And that's a drop on the sideline from Enraladas.
That is not a good look.
Still count rising. I think it was obvious what Toshnarova wanted, putting it deep. It's well defended. Just closed out by a couple of players. Choosing to play the field position there, 3SB.
Yeah, that was exactly what we talked about, getting on the side, getting the disc on the sideline and having that zone put up around you, looking up into the wind. It's a difficult one. It's difficult to know where to put it, and it's hard as a cutter to know how to get free. Enraladas not having that issue in the opposite direction, though.
No, a beautiful put. I thought for a second that the defender was going to be able to get there, get hands to it and knock it away, but agonizingly for 3SB, it's over her arms and lands into the lap of Enraladas for 3 apiece. Not much between these two sides so far. Which I think is probably, based on the previous meeting this tournament, about what we expected.
Seems like that's the way it's going to go, yeah.
And you see it again on the replay. Pings it deep. The defender just can't quite get there.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Good hustle to get down there, but not going to be it today, I'm afraid.
So Enraladas getting ready to pull. Two sides level at 3 apiece in this contest. Just under 20 minutes gone. The winner will take their place in the final tomorrow afternoon. And thus will probably be hitting the party a little bit lighter.
A damn shame.
Or maybe not, depending on your attitude.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule anyone out.
They're going to suggest that this might have been down.
Oh, my instinct's telling me this one was up, but maybe we might have a replay available.
I think the call's been retracted.
Okay. No replay necessary. It was resolved.
Looking for the break off. Well, this is going to flow a little bit. Time to adjust. Scoops it in before Otal closes. Now they're moving it with a bit more pace. It's an underneath option, showing the hammer. Now they're going towards this sideline, which is where Enraladas want them trapped. Andres gets broken with the high release. Sending the disc back where it came from now. Big static downfield, ambitious blade over the top. Oh, I thought it was right on target, but must have done just enough to make sure that the pass was incomplete.
Yeah, I think that was actually fairly precision, but number 9 for Enraladas reading that very well, able to snip in and get a hand to it. Great effort. Quite an ambitious shot. Well executed, like we said. I do think it was on target, but it was a kind of slightly riskier look.
Yeah, even if you absolutely nail it, there's still no guarantee that it's going to be caught. Although I guess that's true with everything.
Yeah, I would say that's sort of words that can be applied quite widely at an ultimate frisbee tournament.
Yeah, not my finest moment. Otal in real trouble on that front corner.
I think that's the low corner there. This is the wind is coming directly into that corner. So right now they are looking into the wind. It's going to make that one sit, but well read.
Funding over the top, and now they've got behind a lot of this defense, trying to move it before everyone gets back into position. Albardiaz. Back to Otal. This one is floaty.
Oh, unfortunate. Just, I think, enough pressure of knowing that other players were coming in there that...
Hearing the footsteps, maybe.
Yeah, got both hands to it, but it just popped out and just in time for the others to make sure that they shut down that option. But unlucky for Enraladas. 3SB with the disc. Enraladas in a zone again.
This one, trying to weight it over the top. Brilliant throw. Got the angle and got the float just right. Now blading it around the bat. You can see the two sides adjusting to these wind conditions a little bit now. It's got to be a little pop into the cup.
3SB do also, they have someone just waiting, hanging out in the end zone.
Yeah.
Really ready for whatever occurs. A turnover, unfortunately.
That's probably not what they were waiting for.
Not what they were waiting for.
Unless someone just wanted a little break. Towards the far side of the field. A little bit of a stretch and chase, but not a problem for Sorinas. Enraladas rifle this one deep. Brilliant put on the money. 4-3 Enraladas.
That was a sensational throw. Really, really well weighted. Free cutter in space, but also directly into this gusty wind that we're looking at. So having said that, I feel like the wind might have just shifted. I think we're now looking at the flags. It might be coming kind of from the other direction. So perhaps that was slightly more of a crosswind throw. It seems to be coming from that far side of the field now.
In the other semi-final, last update, still fabulous, up 4-3 on Prima Donna Girls. In the open semi-finals, Foy up 3-2 on Moon Catchers, Clapham up 2-1 on Is No Good. And of course, we'll have the mixed semi-finals coming up for you next. Matter at hand, Enraladas, 4-3 up on 3SB here.
Enraladas ready to go, shaking their hand, the disc around over her head, signaling that they're ready.
Quick game's a good game and all that.
Beautiful pull.
Lands just at the feet there. Enraladas seem to think this is a turnover.
Oh, it is.
And
it's
3SB
called a
agree.
turnover.
Yeah.
The 3SB player touching the disc before it hit the ground.
Yeah, thought about catching the pull, tried to back out, but didn't make the decision early enough.
Just bounced off her shins, maybe. That's a really hard one, but accepted with grace. And now Enraladas with a really short field.
Trying to blade it over the top. Still not in. And 3SB find a red zone stand, not on this occasion.
Sticky hands there, great great work to just stick out her hand and grab that in what was quite a messy, swirly corner of the end zone. Lots of action right in front of the disc, everyone trying to help out and sort of getting in each other's way. But Enralada player doing a great job to react to that disc and snag that for her team's score.
Yeah, see it again on the replay now. Outside the end zone, the gratuitous ground check. And then a little bit of space, just about squeeze it in there. As you mentioned, the stick 'em on the fingers. So 5-3 Enraladas lead. They're up 2 points earlier in this game, and then 3SB came charging back to take the lead. Prima Donna girls, by the way, have equalised and then taken the lead, so they're 5-4 up on Fabulous. For the mixed semi-finals field, the blue pitch, this one is going to have Pooty versus Ambush, and the yellow pitch behind us is going to have Hrut versus Smog.
Those are going to be some very exciting games. All those mixed teams looking incredibly strong this weekend.
Looking around, breaking through to the far sideline, nice low release flick there. Surveying options, 3SB, just working their way down the field.
Yeah, I love to see it when someone on disc just turns and matches up against their force and gets that breakout. It's great to watch.
Still count rising, cheeky little lefty. High release over the top, utilising the wind to the advantage there. Just sitting it out. Beautiful throw through the receiver to catch. They're still behind, but only the 1 point now, 4-5.
Yeah, cheeky lefty followed by a real cheeky over the heads shot into the end zone. Great work by 3SB to just keep calm. You know, they're not flustered by this zone. They know they can move it around. They know they can break that force, which we're seeing them do time and time again. Yeah, really great work just to stay calm, stay level, find the options. And they obviously have a big arsenal of throws they can call on to get the disc around or over and into their hands.
So 3SB needing a couple of breaks here. This will be their first opportunity to see if they can get one of them back. Toshnarova pulls down the centre of the field, where the disc lands just shy of those Herbie-shaped brick marks, which I must say, lovely touch.
I actually hadn't clocked they were Herbie-shaped. That's great.
Yeah, when you walk over, just get a little peep. It's nice. As this throw, that came out a little bit weird, and 3SB get caught too far underneath it.
Yeah, there was a really quick interception there. 3SB managing to get a better read on that Enraladas disc and get in there for the interception, but unfortunately not able to complete the next couple passes.
Disc on this near sideline. Still trying to squeeze it in this space. Betancourt looking deep. Defenders there, not going to get there. Mata Ortiz with the catch. Getting checked on by a member of the opposition. But it seems to be okay. And the goal stands at 6-4. The wind has dipped a bit, and you can see that offense is becoming a bit easier now.
Yeah, enjoy it while it lasts. I sense this might be a up and down game with the wind.
Just let me have this. Here it is on the replay, thinks about it for a little bit, and then decides that got faith in the receiver, and the faith is repaid.
Yeah, I think that was a pass of faith. I mean, it was a lovely disc around and right into that open corner, but that was, there were 2 3SB defenders there alongside 2 Enralada cutters, so definitely a moment of faith in your teammates to go and get that for you, which paid off. So you can't fault it.
Did indeed. That one bounces out of 3 SB hands. Smacked to the turf by Enraladas. Altau gets it moving.
Setting straight back into this zone. No discussion needed, immediately into the zone. They clearly know what their plays are.
Yeah, I like that. It's not the fact that, oh, we're an O-line, so we'll make sure we have to go one-on-one on the turn. If the opportunity presents itself, yeah, we'll go with our bread and butter, which for 3SB seems to be this zone.
A lot of pressure on the disc right now. Andreas coming in for the pop and then gets it off for the reset. Back and forth from Andreas. Taking a little bit of a hit on the mark there.
Breaks it behind. And now they're swinging it across the pitch.
Just keeping that cup moving, keeping that force moving.
Ooh, a little bit of a fumble, but got away with it. Looking a bit more expansive across the field. Andres reads that well. Now down the sideline, Bid comes through and knocks it away.
Yeah, difficult when you're constantly having to move it laterally and you're constantly having to kind of keep finding your dump and keep finding that swing. It's difficult sometimes to kind of keep your head and not end up forcing it down the sideline a little bit, trying to force it forwards.
Yeah, when you see the opportunity, you can get a little bit antsy, I think.
Yeah, even the smallest opportunity seems like the opportunity, and actually, in that instance.
And the huck block was rescued, but maybe a stall out. That was, I have no idea how on earth that played out like that.
Crazy awareness from the 3SB player to keep an eye on that and to make that bid to help her teammate out and to keep that disc potentially in 3SB possession.
Whatever happens, the presence of mind here is unbelievable.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
There's a stupidly good grab as well.
Yeah, it's you know, a very solid defensive effort block. She read that she wanted the huck and she was like, absolutely not, and then rescued by her teammate, but now was there a stall out? That's the question.
So it's not going to be so if the disc had hit the floor, then Enraladas would just retract the stall out call and the turnover would stand. So, and that would give them the disc on the end zone line. So the fact that it was rescued is important. But I think they are discussing whether or not it was stalled out.
Some discussion around how to resolve, but it looks like it's been contested.
And I imagine they're going to punt this in pretty short order. Laning it over the top, that's a really nice release. To not only complete the pass, gain some yards, some field position, and I'm not sure Enraladas were expecting it in that way. This one is lashed deep towards the back of the end zone, where it hits a volunteer on the head and goes out the back.
Yeah, I don't know if that was maybe picked up by the wind a little bit, but there was a lot of force on that release. Really put some beans behind it, which, yeah, particularly when you have even just a little bit of wind, you need to be kind of pulling that back a bit, making sure you're getting enough touch, enough sit on the disc for your player, and that one was a bit gung-ho.
Speaking of sauce, can I get some mayonnaise for these chips?
Put the request out to the masses and...
Oh, it's been contaminated. I'm not having that. But thank you for the effort.
Didn't know beggars could be choosers, but there we go.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, you will. There is more where that came from, I'm afraid. I've got an ego to service. They're talking about a foul on the mark here. I think in the end it's going to be uncontested. I just think ketchup's really bad. No, Enraladas. I'm trying to keep these close to the ground to prevent them from being taken by the wind, but they didn't prevent it from being taken by the opponent. 3SB steal through. Still count rising. Fluttery Scuba's reeled in.
And I believe, is that the same teammate who managed to rescue the block earlier in the point?
It might be, you know.
hard to tell. We don't have a full roster, but yeah, that looked to be the same person. So bit of a team player, bit of a hero, bailout hero of the point, I think.
That scuba was ugly.
Yeah, I think it probably wasn't plan A or maybe even plan B.
No, quite a way down the alphabet.
Yeah, but trusting teammates to hustle to try and recover that ground and get there. So
just put it into an area where someone can come up with it, and who knows? A teammate might answer the call. Lot of hang time on this pull, and it drops in bounds as well. It lets the defense set up immediately. Brilliant pull from 3SB. Trying to sing that one through the cup. No siree. There's a hand there, and the pendulum of this game swings back and forth once more. Floated up a little bit beyond the handler, but caught comfortably enough. Now coming back towards the disc. 3SB resetting outside the end zone. It's an open cut there, putting it out into space for the break for 3SB. We're level again at sixes. I think something we saw there, Rach, was the value of a good pull.
Yeah, that was a really great pull. As you said, it just caught the wind, and we could see it just in the front of the commentary box. You could just see the wind sit under it, slow it down, and kind of make it sit in the air, and then it dropped almost directly. You know, it was a vertical drop down, inbounds. Defense already set, basically, already staring down the offensive players, and yeah, able to turn that pressure on from that very first pass. Really great pull, really great defensive effort, and then some good offense to follow it up. So 3SB, I'm sure, will be very pleased with that. You know, the zone worked, that did its exact job, making them think they could squeeze it through, but the wall shut it down.
In the other women's semi-final, Prima Donna girls have taken half 8-5 on Fabulous. In the open semis, Foy up 7-5 on Mooncatchers, Clapham up 5-1 on Is No Good.
The Clapham Is No Good game, of course, being streamed on the other channel.
As this huck is blocked in the cup, and eventually it flutters to the turf. Also, I've just noticed that we've got a lot of Enraladas in skorts, which is a look I've never been able to pull off. But more power to them. Toshnareva wants to put it deep immediately and finds the target. Trying to play the field position. Get it close to that end zone. Can they punch it in? Reset off, faking the backhand now. Turns, uses the lefty backhand, but it's too far out in front. Creative option, didn't come off. And you can see again the wind altering this a little bit. Brilliant read from Enraladas. That throw, however, on the continuation is low and it doesn't reach the target.
Yeah, there's a lack of focus there. That definitely released all wrong. Wasn't what she'd intended. Receiver was wide open and just wasn't able to get the disc over there.
Looking for that IO flick. Rises to make the catch. Guns the lefty backhand deep. And very calmly batted to the turf by Enraladas.
That Enraladas defense peeling off from was marking a different player, but peeled off, recognized that was going to go up, and nicely positioned themselves to intercept.
High release into the center, floating a little bit. Lands in the hands of Andres, who throws it to the turf.
See quite a lot of frustration from Enraladas there. They're sort of having some execution errors, and
as with the visor, Deltero with the visor throws it deep. The disc batted but not caught, and they can't get it at the second attempt. Catch your Ds, and that doesn't happen. That's not the first time this game that Enraladas have got away with it.
Yeah, that was a touch and go. 3SB probably a little bit gutted to not have managed to get that one. It was sort of right in our hands, but definitely came in as a surprise. Timeout called.
I understand this timeout because this point's got scrappy. Often when these points drag on, especially if the game's so tight, then getting that really does feel like a big mental edge over your opponents. So while the two teams take a timeout, we'll do the same here in the booth, and we'll be back with you shortly.
So loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can find them on Ultical.
Connor. Yes, Connor. Have you signed up to the Ulti TV Patreon yet? No, not yet. Why? We best get on it before London Invite. They've got 16 of the best men's and women's teams from around Europe, and it's the last stop before Worlds. And it's only $3.50 a month. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll get on it late. It's on the right tab for you there as well.
Welcome back to Ulti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022 women's semi-final action. 3SB from the Czech Republic taking on Enraladas of Spain. And it's Benji Reese and Rachel Douglas in the booth with you, with the game tied at 6 apiece.
Very tight game so far. Both teams getting a little bit scrappy. We've seen some speculative looks. We've seen some execution errors. But we've also seen some lovely connections and some big defensive plays. So there's lots to look out for. Both teams really invested, really wanting to get the win. They want to be in that final tomorrow.
And you can't blame them at the moment, looking like Prima Donna Girls the opponent, but still plenty of time in both of these games, just under half hour until the cup comes on. Trying to blade that over the top, really sticky catch there. That was not easy. And the dump is turfed, but maybe foul on the throw. Two players just having a discussion. Uncontested foul, good use of communication and hand signals. Makes our job easy, and they immediately throw it away.
Yeah, I don't know what she was thinking.
I don't know if he got caught in her hands or miscommunication. And Toshnarova goes straight to the lefty backhand for the 3SB break, and they're back in front at 7-6.
Yeah,
again, this game keeps going back and forth. Sorry,
yeah,
Rachel.
absolutely. No, just comfortably converting that. They're not going to turn away an option like that, you know, getting it turned over right on their own end zone line, one pass in for the score, and now they're up after having been down for the beginning part of the game. So yeah, great work for 3SB. And Enraladas just having a bit of a communication nightmare there. I don't know, as you say, if it came out of her hand wrong or she was expecting her dump to move into that space or what, but very unfortunate turnover in an area you really can't afford to be giving them the disc.
So 3SB with their long pink noses in front, or beaks, I guess, really, because they're flamingos. I'm saying nothing about their facial structure. I'll pretend I never said any of this. Pulling, and it's just about going to drift out of the sideline, and that's where Enraladas are going to take it. No time like the present, I guess.
This player seems to have got the sidelines mixed up because she was definitely waiting for the disc back off the field. So I think she hadn't realised that was actually out.
Ah, I see. Regardless, dropped, and now 3SB can break for half. Breaking the force well. Thought about squeezing it in there, but not going to jam it in the jam hole just yet. Toshnarova wants to rip this flick into the end zone. 3SB break for half. They'll go into the break 8-6 up.
Yeah, very decisive option for 3SB there. Definitely saw her teammate available and just put enough zip on that to get there directly before any defensive effort can be made. Great work for 3SB to come back from being down and to take half.
Yeah, a couple of times they were in some 2-point holes, but fought their way out of it admirably. And now got a 2-point advantage, their first of the game, going into the second period here. While the two teams get a chance to have a bit of a mental reset, make some tactical adjustments through half time. We're going to stretch off, do those vocal exercises, that's the word I was thinking of, and we'll be back with you in a couple of minutes for the second half of this women's semi-final.
So loads of tournaments happening, which you can attend either as a player or a spectator. You can find them on Ultical.
Connor. Yes, Connor. Have you signed up to the AltiTV Patreon yet? No, not yet. Why? We best get on it before London Invite. They've got 16 of the best men's and women's teams from around Europe, and it's the last stop before Worlds. And it's only $3.50 a month. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll get on it late. It's on the right tab for you there as well.
Help us go electric, become a member.
We believe mixed is the best for the sport, for the world. That's why we're making a global showcase, starting in Europe, made in Amsterdam. LTV. LTV.net.
Hi, this is West. Me and my camera have been covering Ultimate Frisbee since 2012, and now I've been working with AltiTV, streaming Ultimate Frisbee for you. And if you become a patron member, we can offer you more contents, especially those games that they are not live stream and they're happening at the end of the game. Half of it I can move and go in there and stream live. So become a member, go on AltiTV.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back to Ulti TV's coverage of Windmill 2022. We are done with Swiss draw and we are in the brackets, and it is women's semi-final action for you with the Czech Republic's 3SB taking on Enraladas of España. Benji Reese in the booth alongside Rachel Douglas. What was your kind of brief summary of that first half?
Scrappy and kind of like a bit pendulumy. You know, they each had moments where they got into a groove and had some points on the bounce. For a while, Enraladas were up, and then 3SB brought it back and took half. So I think scrappy and, yeah, like a pendulum swing would be my summary.
We've had some bonkers plays for both sides, and it has been great fun. Otel towards the sideline, dishes it off, trying to blade it over the top. Really well reeled in again, is what I talk about. They're not afraid to throw these ambitious looks as they're trying to get this across the end zone. That frosty, feathered flick to the far side. Impeccable, immaculate, and it's 8-7.
That was delightful. That was so great. Like really moving around a lot, like a small ball around the cup, and then just seeing that midfield player and being able to put that precision throw around the cup into that space, and then yeah, again, just giving a second for cuts to develop, and then a beautiful put out to that far side, slicing through the field, loads of sit on it all day for a very open defender to take that point, catch that disc and take the point. So yeah, coming out firing for Enraladas, really showing some class in the first point of the second half.
Yeah, in the other women's semi-final, by the way, 11-6, Prima Donna really opening up a bit of a margin over Fabulous, so still time left for the comeback in that one, as there is here, but kind of running out of it. Just under 20 minutes left in the open semi-finals as well. Foy up 9-6 on Mooncatchers, and Clapham up 6-2 in a tight, testy affair against Is No Good. And that game you can watch for free on the pitch behind us on Ulti TV's YouTube channel, because we've been bringing you 2 streams all weekend because we're so good to you. High release backhand around. Looking for options. Just taking things a little bit more slowly on this possession. Slightly more measured maybe, but that blade, you could tell the wind pushed it down and they couldn't get the hand around the backside. Now, Enraladas putting it deep on the money, not in the end zone just yet though. High release backhand towards this near side, thought about jumping it in, but why bother when you can just throw the next pass? And Enraladas have tied us at 8.
Enraladas came out of that half-time really fired up. You can see they know what they want to do. They know that they've got the skills to get there, so they're just not going to get flustered by 3SB. They're not going to get worried by this zone. They're going to move it around, and then when they get the disc, they're just taking incredibly decisive options. So really great work. 3SB looking like they're just a little bit shakier coming into the second half than they left the first. Ended the first half on a high. You know, they had 2 points on the bounce, I believe, taking that half with a little bit of a margin, which they've now let
quickly ceded.
Yeah, quickly ceded. They've let Enraladas back in, or Enraladas have forced their way back in, I would say. Yeah, so again, the pendulum swings and it's swung the other way, and Enraladas are now focused. They know what they want to do. They're executing precisely. Great to watch, and 3SB need to step it up if they're going to try and get the momentum back.
So the pull goes up from Enraladas. 3SB don't want to repeat the drop pull, so they're letting it hit the floor. Faking the backhand, then the flick. Trying to trap them there. 3SB want to get it moving into the cup. Hit to the floor, but maybe a foul.
can see a number of supporters on the live chat on YouTube just giving us some vamos. I believe they must be therefore supporting our Spanish side. Enraladas here at Windmill. Vamos chicas, people are saying.
So we know who the public wants. Well, some of the public. I'm sure that 3SB had their own fans back home in Czechia.
If you're watching and you support 3SB, make sure you pop a comment into the chat. Represent. Currently, the support looks like it's more for the Enraladas side, so represent.
High release backhand with a wry smile over the top, a hospital pass. And 3SB come down over massive humanity with the disc, but there's a call. Almost inevitable when there's that many people under it, you kind of feel.
Yeah, very difficult when you've got, what's that, about 6 people going up for one disc.
Yeah, if you want to get involved in the chat, in the YouTube comments, then all you have to do is become a subscriber, and there's a brief waiting period to filter out the spam bots, and then you can join the live chat, make your presence felt. When there's such a throng underneath the disc like that, how can you tell what's gone on? I ask this genuinely.
Yeah, I actually think there's a possibility that the contact that Enraladas player felt might have been from her own teammates. That did seem that was who was around her, but of course, hard to know, hard to say. And in this instance, the disc is going to go back as a kind of a contested foul call.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I see it. It's so difficult to work out precisely what happened. Backhand rolling over the top, brilliantly judged. Now gets it back, finds a little crease to thread through. Faking, pivoting towards the sideline, trying to spread it out, and then lashing it over the top. Receivers there, and it just sailed ever so slightly.
Yeah, that was the kind of confident look that was really coming off for them in the first half. That one, maybe a little bit too much on it, a little bit too ambitious. Really unlucky there not to be able to come down with it.
Good news, Rachel. It's beer o'clock.
Yeah, we've just seen someone pull up to the crew tent, to the media team with a big jug of beer.
We've got a picture, and they've got a picture on the other field as well.
Windmill tournament treating us right.
There's a reason that people love coming here, and it's little touches like that. Obviously, you know, not all teams get beer brought, but it's just a testament, I think, to the sort of character of the people and yeah, the hospitality. Is the word?
Yeah, this tournament has been pretty flawless so far. The experience of being here as part of the media crew or as a player is always excellent.
As a spicy look over the top, reeled in by 3SB to retake the lead. 9-8, still just a hair's breadth between the two sides.
Yeah, Enraladas looking like they were sort of maybe a little bit more in that point, and then just a little bit of a drop, unable to kind of come in. I think crashing through that cup. Just the throw came in a little bit quickly. The player was unable to hold on to it, giving 3SB another opportunity to take back their lead.
As a player, when you're in a sort of slightly agricultural at times games like this one, how do you adjust that attitude to know that you're probably a bit more likely to make mistakes and get yourself at peace with that?
Well, I think that's difficult. I think when you're a kind of competitive sports person, like it's hard to make peace with mistakes. I don't know that making peace with it is the right thing, but it's really about how you respond, recognizing that if you've made a mistake, it's a learning point, and it's something that you can take the personal responsibility to not make that same mistake again, and to not allow that negativity to seep into your mindset or that of your team. So I don't know that it's necessarily kind of making peace with it, but I think it's finding a way to utilize that those mistakes and kind of motivate yourself rather than letting it become a negative.
Try and use it as like the bulletin board material.
Yeah, sure.
So no surprise to see 3SB come out with zone on this D point. Enraladas somehow sneaked that over the top. Thought that was going to be blocked in the cup, but they've got it on this sideline now. Trying to swing it across again, work this front line of the 3SB defense, make it constantly shuttle back and forth like a frisbee bleep test. If you can imagine such a horror. Beautiful put over the top.
Yeah.
Enraladas find that space nicely.
Great work by Andreas to see the gap there and just put a nice precision throw up the line.
That one's low, but rescued well.
Yeah, saved. Quite dynamic play from Enraladas here. Really, like you say, moving that cup around, making them exhausted, making them have to chase the disc, and if the slower they get, the more time and the more room Enraladas have to find their offensive players.
It might be because I'm looking for it, but it feels like on these throws, they're intentionally whipping it with a bit more spin, a bit more intention behind them. Although, as I say that, of course, one hits the turf.
Unintentionally thrown into the turf. I would agree with you, and yeah, unfortunately that.
There's a deep put right on the money. The bid comes in, but doesn't get there. A break for 3SB to go 10-8 up.
That was a brilliant huck, really well weighted, and that really had to have some power on it because that cut came quite early, so they managed to get right down there into that deep corner of the end zone. Such a beautiful vision to see that progressing and knowing that, you know, they're able to put up that huck throw with enough speed to get down there. A big defensive effort from the defensive player, the Enralada defensive player, but unable to get a hand to it, and that was rewarded with a score.
Yeah, Rachel Tasznarova's got a bit of a cannon, and she's not exactly gun shy, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a massive thing to back yourself on those ones, but you know, if you have the backhand that's going to float and sit and get down there with pace like that, then absolutely, why not? No false modesty needed, just use it.
Right, it's about knowing what your abilities are and using that to your advantage.
Absolutely.
Enraladas, this one's going to float and float out of the sideline. 3SB can create a bit more breathing space. Picked up and into the center. Trying to shoot for the end zone. Oh, this is going to float a little bit, but brilliantly snagged away. Is it in or is it out? Being called out of the sideline.
Yeah, premature celebration on this sideline. The players not on the field. Very, very happy to see that, and then immediately quiet as they realise that unfortunately it was not in the field.
Yeah, for us as well in the booth. We do not really have an angle at all of precisely where that sideline is. So it is tricky to know at times. I think that right foot is first to land, and it might be on the line there. Trying to float this one over the top and over the 3SB defender as well. Tried to smuggle in underneath. But now Otel rips it down the far sideline and off the receiver's hands.
That 3SB player kind of trying to take a more direct line, trying to get a hand to the disc on defense. I think, although it didn't look like she managed to get a touch on it, perhaps just put the receiver under that little bit more pressure, and ultimately wasn't able to, despite it being more or less in her hands, wasn't able to come down with it. 3SB calling timeout.
Yeah, I think they know that if they can put this in, go 11-8 up, that really does create the breathing space, and potentially would take away the cap +1. And also the timeout. This will not be why they've called it, but it does help that it takes a couple of minutes out of the game and does bring you a little bit closer to that cap. Cap rules in the brackets. When the hooter goes, you finish the point. If the score is even or there's 1 point difference, then you play cap +1. But if it's 2 or greater after you finish the point, it is game over. So that's 3SB trying to make sure that they've got that little bit of gap for when the cap comes on. the winner of this game, looks certain to face Prima Donna Girls in the final. They're up 14-7 now on Flying Angels. Foy and Mooncatchers tied at 10s. Clapham 6 is no good 3 currently in the other is no good 4, excuse me, in the other semi-final. Three SB break their huddle. Enraladas getting ready to break theirs.
Of course, either team meeting Prima Donna in the final will be a rematch. Prima Donna have had a very decisive time here at Windmill so far. They've come away with a lot of significant victories, with significant margins rather. Both of these teams have played Prima Donna. Enraladas lost to them 15-6. 3SB lost to them 13-10.
They've pushed them the closest of anyone so far, and were they to make it in the final, they would look to overturn that deficit. We're hearing the hooter now as well, which will signal the end of the game. So there is the whistle, so to speak. We'll finish the point and then we'll see what the cap situation is. Tosnerova jacks it, but it comes awkwardly out of the hand. Blades far too early, rolls to the sideline and out of bounds.
Zone is getting set. 3SB not wasting a moment, getting their defense set up. They're going to want to get this turn. If they score the point, then the game is over. But if Enraladas score, and Enraladas do score,
that's going to come back on the travel.
Travel called.
Can you guess what happened?
She was on the wrong sideline.
Correct.
The theme of the kind of the running joke of the game, not knowing where to stand, which sideline is actually the one they should be aligning with.
Putting it deep again anyway, and catching it again anyway, Enraladas. So they do pull within 1. So the score now is 9-10, game to 11.
Yeah, very confident, just to basically put a very similar huck look, rolling forehand huck into that end zone, just trusting that you know one of your players is going to be free. Very confident look for Enraladas there. They still like to play their own way. You know, they're not going to play scared. They're not going to be worried that they're a couple points down and now only 1 point down, taking them into a soft cap. They're just going to play their game and not get too stressed about it. So 3SB really hoping that they can put this in and avoid a universe situation.
Yeah, they are playing slightly into the percentages as well there, because of course if they can't complete the pass, then 3SB would have to work the full length of the pitch against a wind that is tricky to navigate.
Yeah, definitely picking up a bit, getting a bit more gusty, creating new challenges. So yeah, 3SB will be looking to put this one in and not have to navigate against that wind.
Prima Donna Girls have finished off the other semi-final. 15-7 is the final score there. So the winner will face Prima Donna Girls, as many suspected. A lot of representation for both sides in the YouTube chat. Hoping to cheer their charges on to a place in the finals. Enraladas with zone, travel called, so resets the feet. Wants to think about getting that one through. We're not really seeing any options they like. Just pops it off. Oh, cheeky scuba, gets her hands underneath it, really well received. That was a tricky, tricky catch. Toshnareva wants to blade towards the far sideline. Again, awkward, but goes to ground to create that backboard. Blading it over the top again. 3SB playing without fear. Shooting towards the end zone. Is this going to curl back in bounds? Enraladas won't give it the chance.
Yeah, that was perhaps just a little bit too excited, a little bit too tunnel vision on the score for the win there. Not sure that that big looping throw was really on. There was a very small margin on the sideline, and of course, with the path it had to take, it gave a lot of time for the defensive player to get involved and get the D, which obviously they did successfully. So I think a little bit of perhaps a little bit trigger happy for 3SB there. And now Enraladas with a chance to equalize this game, this semi-final game.
Yeah, take us to sudden death. But at the moment, they're penned inside their own end zone. Can they find a way out of it? And then right the man to the other end zone, foul on the throw. Just a confirmation that we've got the mixed semi-finals coming up next. This pitch, we are going to be streaming you the #1 seed in the bracket, Putti, going up against Ambush, and the other pitch will have Hrut versus Smog. Yes, Herbie's trumpet to signal the start of the next game, but we've got to finish the action here. Bladed over the top. And now a lot of space for Enraladas to work with. Now they've got past the front line of that zone. Oh, that shot's way underdone. Easily picked off. Greedily even by 3SB. Curling this down the sideline. Well weighted. Player takes off deep. Faking, putting it back into the center. Sneaking it past the arm of the defender. Shooting deep, curling it down that far sideline towards the back corner on the money. 3SB are in the finals.
Yeah, unbelievable shot from 3SB. Really confident play. You know, not scared to put up those big looks, even though they were in the final points of the semi-final. Not playing scared. Still happy to use their full arsenal. Beautiful throw, beautiful execution, and a great win for 3SB. Able to come out of this rematch with the win this time.
Yeah, the game's happened so thick and fast that we don't even have time to digest it, because Ambush versus Putti is due to start any second now. So thank you very much for watching this women's semi-final. For Rachel Douglas, I'm Benjamin Rees. Your final score here is 3SB 11, Enraladas 9, and 3SB will face Prima Donna Girls in the women's final tomorrow.
Alti.tv